It's all good.
Hell yeah. Huh, Spicoli, ain't that right?
We just get a poppin' DT. That's just kind of our style. We just roll with it, man. I am so excited to have comedian Cameron Logsdon here on the Good Life podcast. I've been following his stuff. I saw he had 1.2 million followers. I was
Dude,
like,
right?
yes, bro. Yes, bro. Our guy from our own backyard, Omaha, kicking it with us on the Good Life podcast. Doesn't get any better than that.
Start the show. The Good Life with DT. It's Nicole. Welcome to the Good Life.
You are now listening to the Good Life Podcast.
Good Life. Good Life. These boys are crazy.
You are now listening to the Good Life Podcast.
Good Life. What?
No, man. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. It's a good time.
Yeah, man. He hit me up the other day, and he sent me. He's like, "Have you seen this dude?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I've seen that dude, man. What are you talking about?" He's like, "You know he's from Omaha?" And I'm like, "What?" I had no idea.
That's cool. That's sick. No, yeah, man. Proud to be from here, and I think more people that can do it from here, or at least be from here and be proud to be from here. Because some people they like to tuck that in their resume. They don't always have the same level of pride, but I think we should.
What's his what's the dude from Workaholics?
Adam Devine.
Adam Devine, yeah. So he was
Devine.
friends with like the people I used to roll with, man. So like he
yeah.
was really like, I'm trying to think of other comedians that have really come out of Omaha besides him. You and him, that's the only ones I can think of, dude.
We got a handful. Amber Ruffin is from Omaha, and she had her own show on Peacock, and she's on Seth Meyers, and she's on CNN and stuff. Yeah, dude, she's a great comic from here, and of course, famously Johnny Carson.
Well, yeah,
Johnny Carson is from Nebraska,
Carson.
maybe not Omaha, but
Yeah, damn, that's our biggest flex, right? Like Johnny Carson. I mean, who would have thunk out of Omaha? Unreal.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
It's pretty sick.
Can you
People don't
impersonate
realize
Johnny
Marlon
Carson?
Brando. Johnny Carson is a hard one to do because I wasn't alive when he was on television, but I've seen the clips, so I don't know. That's about the closest I can get to a Carson. I don't do a lot of Carson.
Does that shit drive you crazy now that you do it? Like, you're known for impressions. Does it drive you crazy? People like, do this. Like dance, puppet dance kind of shit.
It
like,
is.
get back up.
It does get a little dance puppety. You know what I mean? But like most of the time, it's cool. I could do it for people, but I'm not gonna. When people are like, "Will you record a voicemail for my younger brother's mom's dad?" You know what I mean? It's like, your dad? I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be fine. So, but people are usually pretty cool, and it's not too bad.
Oh yeah, man. So for being from Omaha, man, did you? How old are you, man? I have no idea.
Yeah, for sure. I'm 35. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So you're just a few years behind me, man. So did you do the Omaha like comedy circuit and all that, like Backline and all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah. And I'm still out here. Like I'm lucky. I can travel and do comedy, and I've gotten to do some different things. But my kid was born when I was in high school. And so I was like, well, I want to stay grounded and raise him up, but also I was going to hold on to my dreams. And so I try to make as much work as I can from here. And social media has been a big opportunity for me to like kind of connect with more people while also staying here and taking care of what I need to take care of. So I'm still out, I'll be at the Funny Bone all the time. And I'll go out to the Backline, and I'll do the bar shows. I'll do whatever. Like if you're in Omaha, you'll see me around because I'm around.
That's dope, man. I love it.
Yeah. What high school did you go to?
I went to Bellevue East.
Wait.
Yeah.
What year did you graduate?
2007.
I was 03 at East, bro.
Oh, 03? I would have.
Do you know anyone with the last name Taylor? Let me think. Tristan Taylor, Chris Taylor.
It's a lot of Taylor.
I know, bro. Yeah, we all went to
off
East.
the top of my head. I'm trying to think of that. Tristan Taylor maybe sounds familiar.
That's my little brother, dude. Yeah, I mean, I probably know tons of people.
How old is he?
I think he graduated 07, dude. I think he was.
Dude, I think I know your brother for sure. Like I've got a Tristan in my head, and I've only known like a handful of Tristans in my life, so I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure I know that dude. Yeah, for sure.
Bellevue cat, stomping it. Yes, son. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yeah, there we go.
Always a Bellevue kid. Damn, you can't escape Bellevue.
Spicoli, where was he at when we were doing stand up, man? Like we were doing shows.
Did you
Bellevue.
guys? You guys used to do stand up?
We were doing Funny Bone. We were doing a ton of shows in Bellevue.
Yeah, man.
I didn't know you guys were doing stand up.
I used to do stand up. I mean, not like to like the level you're doing it now, man. But
sure.
we would. I started doing it, and then Spicoli, we met, some years before that, and he hit me up, and he was like, "Hey man, I've always wanted to get into it," and I was like, "Fuck it, bro, let's just start doing shows together." And like there was a bar I used to bartend at called American Bistro in Bellevue. It was off, like Cape Heart Road.
I remember this sign. Oh yeah, American Bistro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't they do an episode of a show? There was
Bar Rescue.
Bar Rescue. That wasn't at Bistro though?
No,
was
they were supposed to come to our spot, dude. But I think he ended up selling it, and they did it at, what was it called before it was Sorties, bro? Oh man, O'Banion's.
O'Banion's. That's right.
Yeah,
O'Banion.
dude.
Yeah.
So
but
the
no.
owner of
Okay, I remember
Bistro was like,
Bistro.
because there was a restaurant connected to it. And I bartended, and everyone, I mean, I'm sure you have tons of friends too, where everyone's like, I could do stand up, and they don't realize, man, dude, it's hard. Like, it's not an easy game.
It's hard, and I feel like a lot of people, they have to do it after they lose their football, their fantasy football or whatever. They get, they're like, oh, now you got to go try to do stand up, and then those dudes are like, oh, that'll be fine, I could do it, and then they go up there, they come out and they're so nervous, like, I don't know what to do, but it's like, yeah,
it's tough, man. That's why I have mad respect for. But yeah, me and Spicoli, they tore the restaurant down and set it up like the Funny Bone almost. And it was my first stand up. I never done open mics or nothing, man. Right? So I'm like,
you just went cold to doing shows,
dude. And like,
that's crazy. That's like
150 people showed up, dude. Like,
that's
so
crazy.
Many people showed up. But after that, I mean, it kind of caught on. So me and Spicoli bars would be like, hey man, you guys want to come through and do a show? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And so obviously with Spicoli's name from, being who he is, you see his name on a comedy flyer, dude. I mean, you couldn't walk through
people are coming out.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude,
I'm still pissed though. David put my name below his. He was like, David Taylor in like spaghetti in small print.
I didn't put that shit out there, bro. Hey, put it out in the future now, man. What was it, a few podcasts ago? We were like, so we throw concerts and stuff, right? With the Omaha people. And I was like, man, I would love to throw a Good Life comedy show. Man, we got the guy right here to headline it.
Yeah, dude, we should do it. We should do it. There's so many good people in town too. Mm-hmm. Like we could put on a great show, and there's just like a bunch of killers. You could just do a whole showcase, introduce. If you don't like person A, person B, C, D, you're gonna love. And so, give everybody a little bit of flavor, give them a full buffet, do a good lifestyle. I think that'd be sick.
I know Ben Webb's down, man. I know Ben Webb.
Oh yeah, Ben's around. Ben's out here. He's doing it. You know what I mean? And like I said, there are I think people don't realize about Omaha. Like there's a good comedy scene here, and not all the names pop off as much as some of the others, but like the people are working. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
yeah.
The people are good. Yeah, like we've got some really talented folks out here, and so for sure.
Yeah, man.
So you're going to be on TV on Sunday. Tell us about the show you got caught up in.
Oh, yeah. So I can't say too much about the plot or anything like that. No spoilers. But if you were a fan of Suits, there's a new spinoff called Suits LA. It just premiered last weekend, and I'll be making an appearance. I'm guest starring in an episode. It'll air this Sunday, March 2nd. And so I'm really excited. And like I said, one of the things I'm most excited about is like it's Suits LA, but we're still out here making it work from Omaha. We're doing the thing. And so, but it's cool. It's I was really excited to be a part of it. And when I think when people even see the character that I'm playing, they're going to go, oh, that's fun. You know what I mean? Like it's cool for people.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I haven't watched TV in a hot minute, like a show like that. But anything we can do to like support our homies out of Omaha, we're gonna spread the word, man.
Oh man, I appreciate that. That's great.
Damn, dude, that's dope to me. I got hella more respect. He's from Bellevue. That makes me even more happy, man. Like they went to the same high school. That's dope, dude.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Bellevue East. So you got to be funny, man. That school can. You got to be funny to go to Bellevue East, man.
Bellevue East yeah. It's funny, you've got all these, and I, mad respect to all the different high schools. I know people are doing it, and and if you're a kid, you could be struggling anywhere, but the stark contrast between the kids at Bellevue East and the kids at Bellevue West was, at least when I was there, was very different. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I grew up in Old Town, so like.
Okay.
I was down in the end, so it's you had to figure yourself out if you're going to survive, but we made it work, and it was a good time.
I used to rock a joke during my set about Bellevue East and Bellevue West kids, man. And
Oh, really?
God, dude, what did I used to say?
Did it land? Because
Yeah,
American
dude.
Bistro is kind of Bellevue West territory.
Yeah, man, it landed well because it made sense. It was like, God, man, if I can remember it. The premise pretty much was that Bellevue East kids were selling the weed to the Bellevue West kids' parents. So it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was the difference.
That's very funny.
It was like, it made sense, though.
That's an accurate.
Yeah, right.
Funny.
But that was the premise of the joke, man. But yeah, I used to always, if we did a show in Bellevue, it was always like, let me split this line, and we're gonna go East versus West, bro.
And, Bellevue as a whole, it's still just like a suburb of Omaha, and it's cool. Like it's not like it wasn't like a particularly dangerous place or anything like that. But I think like anywhere, you just there could be a big gap in people's experiences growing up in Bellevue.
Absolutely, bro.
And the same, you can say the same about Omaha or Lincoln or any of the other places too.
Yeah, people in Millard probably do the same thing.
Oh yeah.
That's where I live now. So I'm like, do I live on the Bellevue East side of Millard? Like, is that where I'm at?
Yeah.
Do you speed in Bellevue? And if you got caught, do you drop your name?
Oh, absolutely not. No. The one thing growing up in Bellevue is don't speed. Like I just had to drive through Bellevue the other day for the first time in I don't know a very long while, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like the speed limit is like. That's a hard line. Those numbers matter. You know what I mean? Like Bellevue cops, they hit their quotas. Shouts out to them. Look at them.
Start shooting for having light blinkers out and shit down there, bro. In Bellevue, man.
Yeah.
I was test driving a car once in Bellevue, and they pulled me over.
Oh yeah, dude, I got pulled. Man, I had so many run-ins with the cops when I was younger. Some of which, the record's sealed. We can't talk about those. But the other ones, you know what I mean? Like it was just. You just get stopped for everything. Just, it was everything.
Bro, true story. This is no bullshit. They arrested me for a bag of sea salt one time in Bellevue.
That's crazy.
My buddy had his labret pierced, and they pulled me out of the car, and they were like, hey, your license is suspended. And it wasn't, dude. Like, it really wasn't suspended. And I was like, are you sure? And this is back, like, when you had the CD books. And so they were like, well, grab what you need and start walking. And this was like up the road from the Quick Shop on Mission, the old school Quick Shop, not the new one.
The one before the gas station?
Yeah.
I know about that.
I like grabbed all my shit, bro, and I like made it to the Quick Shop, and there was a cop down there. And when I got there, he threw me against the wall. They put me in handcuffs because they were looking for me after I had walked down there. And I got up there, and they're like, hey, what's this? And I was like, oh, bro, that's sea salt. And they're like, yeah, sure. And, dude, like, they had the crime scene out there. They impounded my car. Like, dude, I was like, oh, my God.
Why do you have sea salt on you?
So, my boy Mike Weatherly, man, rest in peace, he got his labret pierced. Well, Liquid Courage, I think, is where he got. They put his sea salt in this little baggie. And so he left it in my car.
Just like, take this baggie.
Yeah.
This white substance.
And apparently, you're not supposed to tell the cops to, like, well, taste it then. They're like, that shit only happens in the movies. And I was like, oh, yeah. I don't know, dude.
Just dipping his finger in it.
Crazy.
No, I love that. I love that Quick Shop. I used to go there all the time. I remember we would just, like, be digging for a quarter or whatever, and you go up and you used to be able to get a granola bar for 25 cents. And I was like, bro, that's lunch. Like, we're set, you know? But I remember, dude, I got pulled over for everything. I got pulled over one time. This was right after my son was born. I was in high school, and I got pulled over, and there was a curfew. There's the curfew in Bellevue. Was it 10 o'clock?
I think it was like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It was 10 o'clock, and if you were under 18 and not driving to or from work or something like that, you got pulled over. They were very serious about the curfew. I remember I got pulled over, and he's like, it's after curfew, right? What are you doing? And I was like, oh, just picking my son up from the babysitter. Are we both going to get tickets? Like, how's this going to work? Yeah.
It's Bellevue. You probably both did get tickets.
I think they let us off with a warning, and I think that's the first time in Bellevue history anybody got let off with a warning.
Oh, damn. You need to be in like a museum or some shit, dude. Like, got off with a warning in Bellevue.
Yeah, you can put me in that old museum by the back gate to Offutt. That's all right. Now we're getting to a deep cut. We're getting deep into the Bellevue territory. But
you're good, man. I'll say most of our audience is in the Omaha area, but we do have quite a bit outside. But they're gonna start Googling shit, being like, "What is he talking about?"
They'll know. They'll know.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
man.
I think anybody, even from Omaha, they know. Like, hey, once you cross a certain point on 75, like you better slow down. You know? Yeah.
I was actually talking about that earlier to my boss was in town, and I was like, yeah, when you went to high school, we were across from Bellevue West actually earlier today at Starbucks, and he was asking about Bellevue, and I said, yeah, if you went to Bellevue and like when you became an adult, if your adult friends lived in Omaha, they weren't coming to drink with you in Bellevue. Like they were not coming into Sarpy, dude.
You had to leave.
Yeah, and then you had
Go
to be
out,
like,
you know.
really be like, do I want to drive back through the gauntlet to get home, or am I staying at my friend's house in Omaha tonight?
You might as well just crash. Yeah.
Yep.
You better just stay. Yep.
It's wild, man.
You do a lot of funny skits on your Instagram, like the Corn Kid one kills me, dude. That one was
Oh
so
man, I
funny.
appreciate that.
Awesome.
You know, I just reposted the Corn Kid one because speaking of great comedians, we just lost the guy that played the Corn Kid in that video. So people should go check it out. It's on my Instagram and TikTok, YouTube, whatever. But it's great. It's like, you know, the Corn Kid video. It's like we just imagined him as if he was grown up. And I had the idea, and I called my buddy, and I was like, hey, man, you want to be in this sketch? And he's like, what do I got to do? I said, just play the Corn Kid. He's like, I was born for this. And then, you know, he met up with me 20 minutes later, and he crushed the role, and he was great. But, you know, that's Richie B. Richie just passed away. But another great local comic in the scene. And so if you want to see some of him and what he left behind, I definitely recommend check out that sketch. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. You know, people always talk about the impression videos, but I like when people take time to check out the other stuff too.
Oh yeah. When did you learn? Like, when in your life were you like? Was it at an early age when you figured out you could start impersonating people, or what?
Yeah, I kind of did. Like when I was a kid, I would like, you know, it was the 90s, and so I would just watch movies and TV and, you know, whatever. And I just kind of picked a few things up. And then over time, like I got really in the habit of like impersonating my friends and doing something, you know, or teachers and making, you know, stuff like that. And then I just had like a few basic impressions. Like I remember The Mask was really big when I was a kid. Jim Carrey's The Mask.
Oh yeah.
And so one of the first lines I ever learned was to do Jim Carrey's smoking or somebody stop me. You know, I was doing like a lot of that stuff. Yeah. And I like was picking up on Will Smith was another early impression, which is like still very much in my repertoire just because he's like still very famous and in the zeitgeist or whatever. And so Will Smith was an early one for me. And I remember one of the first lines I learned was I would just repeat it all the time was from Men in Black. He would go, NYPD means I will knock your punk ass down. And I would do that. And I remember just like,
dude.
It was things like that. It was like the movies and stuff. It was just like, and it would be quoting lines. And then eventually, you know, when I got a little older, I started playing and like making jokes and doing stuff like that. So I've always had it like a little bit in there, but not until I really started comedy was I like, okay, let me see what I could really, like what I could do with this, or like if I can make up scenarios or make them say stuff that would be funny and stuff. And so I do try to do that.
I'll be shocked on this follow-up question if you tell me you didn't get in trouble for this, man. I know you had to get in trouble for prank phone calling people.
You know what's so funny about it? I never, I don't think I did a lot of prank phone calls.
Really?
And even to this day. Well, because people would be like, oh, you should prank phone call people. And I don't know. I don't know if I can't wrap my head around it, but I'm like, what am I going to do? Just like call and be like, yeah, you know, I'm Jason Statham and I'm going to order a pizza from the Domino's right there. Oh, $3.70 a Galvin or whatever. And it's like, and then people are going to be like, oh, Jason Statham called our Dom. And I was like, I don't know what they get. So I don't know. If people got more ideas.
I worked at Pizza Hut, dude, so I would have believed you.
You would have believed it?
I would have been like, Jason Statham's on the goddamn phone, guys. We got to get this pizza.
You know what? Give you a pizza now.
If it's ever a situation where, like, especially if it's local too, like if I know, like, a celebrity maybe is coming to Omaha to do something, like then maybe it would be a fun time to start calling, you know, because when people come to town, you know, people kind of start chattering. They're like, oh, did you know, like, I don't know, I think I saw, you guys know who Jason Derulo is?
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah. I saw a post like a couple years ago. Somebody was like, Jason Derulo's at Vala's right now. And everybody was freaking out. They're like, why is Jason Derulo at Vala's? And now, like, I can't do a Jason Derulo impression. I mean, just call Domino's and be like, Jason Derulo. You know, I can't do that. But if I could, but that's a good example of like if somebody's in town and like the city's kind of buzzing about it, and if that also happens to overlap with an impression I do, I'm calling everybody. I'm getting everybody. Yeah.
Stat.
I love it, dude. I love it. Do you ever like impersonate your wife or your kid?
No, not really. My kid mumbles too much for me to do a good impression of him. You know how these teenagers are today? Hit the vape. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I'm gonna get it.
I thought that was just David's kids.
Hey, shut up, man. Like,
I don't know.
kids are like fucking all 9 and under, dude. What are you doing?
Oh, they're vaping. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know them. I don't know that my kids
CPS. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know that my kids out here vaping, but you know, he's just kind of. So I don't really do that. And my wife, I don't necessarily do an impression of her, but she will get annoyed if I'm like running around the house doing impressions too much. You know what I mean? She'd be like, Jesus Christ, can't. Or if I'm filming a video in particular, like if I'm in the other room and she just hears like 50 celebrities doing nonsense, you know what I mean? And she's like, what is happening in there? You know, so I do got to try to tone it down, and you know that's why I try to put it online and be done with it. You know,
that
like,
video is dope too,
content.
man. When he does that video where someone said like he does the same 4 voices and you just start going, dude. I was like, that was dope, dude.
Yeah. I appreciate. Well, you know, it's thing like people will be like, "Oh, this guy does the same," and it's like, "Oh, I do the same 10 to 12." Oh, I'm sorry, the same 10 to 12 different impressions. I'm sorry, that's not good enough for you. Right. But also, like, I know the thing that I know is like I know what people will like from me. I know the ones that I'm really, really good at, and I have the ones that like are the most fun for me. You know, like doing a Mark Wahlberg impression. It's always a good time for me. You know, it's like makes me feel a little bit more jacked. I want to get in the gym. I want to do those kinds of things. And hey, what do you do? It's a good time. And so like I'll do a lot of the same kinds of ones. 1, because I know that people like them, and 2, they're fun for me to do. And then 3, it's like, all right, well, if you want the other ones, go watch the other videos because they're out there, you know. So
okay, well,
what?
Okay, I was thinking about this like earlier today. Like I was like, man, I wonder like who on your Mount Rushmore of impersonations you would do. Like who's like your favorite 4 that you would put on your Mount Rushmore?
My favorite 4. My favorite four are probably, yeah, look, I know it's a little cliche because I know a lot of people like to do at least the wow, right? Everybody likes the Owen Wilson wow. But if I'm being honest with you, I like going the other version of Owen Wilson. I like the one where he kind of whispers a little bit. I like when he tells you something and he says, you know what? I believe in you. And I always believed in you, and I think you can do it. So I like Owen Wilson a lot as a big one for me. You know, because I was such a big fan of all the Will Smith movies. Growing up, and you know, I watched The Fresh Prince, and all of that. You know, like that one is definitely high on my list.
That's amazing.
So I think those two are like definitely my top 2. And then another one of my favorite ones who's like it's definitely another one of my favorite ones which is like more obscure, but the dude that wrote Hamilton and does all the music for like Moana, and he did the music for Coco and stuff.
Okay.
Lin-Manuel Miranda. Yo, the thing I love about Lin-Manuel Miranda is 1, nobody else does this impression, and it's like absolutely fun because a lot of times he's rapping, and so he starts, you know, he just do yo ha 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 ha, and he just like I think that's a fun one for me to do. I think like it was an impression that was like a voice that was like. I just remember that musical was really big at the time, and I had seen like Eminem went to see it, and I was like, "Oh, this must be like a big deal." Right. And then he did the music for Moana, and you know, my kid and I, when Moana came out, we watched that all the time, and so like I really liked it. I was like, and so I have a lot of fun with him, even though he's obscure. And on that end, I also really like doing The Rock, but there's 2 different versions. Because you've got The Rock, jabroni, lay the smack down on that candy ass. But then, you know, there's also, you know, the simple Rock, the one that, you know, it's more of a Dwayne Johnson. So I have a lot of fun with that one. Jesus, Mark Wahlberg is definitely up there. So I think Owen Wilson, Will Smith, Mark Wahlberg, The Rock, Lin-Manuel Miranda, which is obscure. Those are definitely my top ones for sure.
So
Dude,
like
those
your
are
comedy
hilarious.
show, like your show, is it more like content and then you just fill in with impressions here and there, or is it more impression like heavy? How do you describe it? I
Yeah.
haven't seen one. I'm
No,
sorry. I wish I
no,
could now.
that's good. You guys got to come out. That's a
Yep.
good question. You know, it's funny. I think that a lot of times, especially because like the thing that has been so like viral for me and the thing that I've become most known for is doing the impressions. But if you come to a live show, you're gonna get the impressions. But I would honestly say it's like maybe only 15-20% of the act. You know what I mean?
Good.
Like if I'm
I like that,
if
dude.
I'm doing an hour, it's really just a very small amount of impressions because like the impressions are good. They're great online. Like the perfect online content. It's short, it's quick, you get it, it's fun. You know, people can have a good time with it. But then the idea is that if you come to a live show, you can only watch that for so long before you're like, all right, but who am I talking to here? You know what I mean? Like, is this a
Yeah.
person? Like, do they actually have a story? And so I try to make sure that if you come out to a live show because you saw the impressions, you'll see the impression that you want to see most likely, but also, you know, you're going to get a lot more. You're going to learn about me and my life and like, we'll actually do some real stand-up, real jokes, you know what I mean, and do the whole thing.
You have a short film called Go coming out. Tell us about that.
That's right. So, speaking of that, you know, it's another thing. Like, I've got a lot of different interests. Like, my mind is split all the time. I want to do the social media stuff, but to me, the social media is different than stand up. Is different than doing like short film and acting and writing. Like these are all different things, even though they're probably related. And so I was working with this great my cinematographer is a guy named Kevin Kabuckets. He's an Omaha dude and he's sick. He's fantastic. And he wanted to get less photography. He wanted to do some cinematography, videography stuff, and I wanted to do something a little bit more serious. So we we collaborated to make something that's unlike anything else that he and I that people know us for, you know. And so the short film is kind of like it's like this weird dystopian world where it's like it's reality, but it's kind of an alternate reality, and we're really playing with the idea of like, all right, but if we are all just like online all the time, or if things were all perfect for us, if we had all of our amenities covered, like what does that even mean for us as people? Like, does that solve our problems? Because, so the short film kind of explores that idea. And the reason why is because I think that like people look at somebody like me and they're like, oh, this dude's got huge social media. That means that like it's made in the shade or it's perfect or whatever. But like, the truth is, it's just like anything else. You know, I mean, you guys know you've got a really successful podcast, and Spicoli, you've been around for forever, just crushing. You know what I mean?
Dinosaur, son.
But people might be looking at your life. I'm not saying that.
He's like,
no,
you're old
but
as fuck, son.
I'm just saying I'm saying you've been killing it for a long time, and people might look at you and they might just think, oh, this dude's like made in the shade, but you're still a real person with real everyday problems. You know what I mean? Right. Like you might still get that flat tire, or you might still have an argument with a friend, or your spouse or whoever it is. You know what I mean? And like you still live real life, and even if all this stuff is going well, you know, if it seems like everything's going well for a person, or if it seems like everything's going well in the world, we still got to deal with real shit, you know? And so the short film is kind of both of us exploring something a little bit different. You know, if I could make a stand-up joke about the same thing, or we could do a short sketch about the same thing, but this is a little bit more serious in tone. It's got a little bit more of an artistic like flair to it, you know what I mean? Something that's got a little bit more weight, because with the short form stuff, it's like, you know, it's like junk food, you know, and we wanted to make something that had a little bit more craftsmanship and a little bit more thought and a little bit more intention behind it. And so that was that project. And so, yeah, that's going to run at the Omaha Film Festival as part of the Nebraska Shorts. And we're really excited and glad that they accepted us and let us in.
That's amazing, dude. Congratulations on that. That's amazing.
That's super cool, man. I love how you have like just a variety of stuff that you're working on. Like, you know, you do funny stuff for, you know, the internet with the impressions, you do the stand up, and then you go a little bit serious. I feel like there's a lot of layers to you.
Hey, I appreciate that. I mean, I think it's because I have a lot of interests. I think like a lot of us, we all feel that way. You know what I mean? Like nobody's just one thing. One of the things that drives me crazy about like comedy and the internet today is you always see these crowd work clips where people are like, what do you do? You know, what do you do? What do you do? I hate that question. What do you do? Because like who has ever wanted to be defined by their job? You know what I
Right,
mean?
man.
Like, get out of it. You know, like, well, I guess I'm just, you're not just that. You are so much more than that. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are dad. You know, you guys are doing the podcast. You guys are doing all sorts of other things. You have lots of interest, and you're dynamic people, and everybody's a dynamic person. And I feel like I'm no different than that. And even though I've become most known for the social media and for the impressions, I don't ever want to like forget that I am more, and that I want to do more, and that I can do more. And it's not always it might not always be as successful as social media is, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to keep just trying to expand my own self and my own interests, because I mean that's what we got to do to grow, you know,
Yeah,
and to not get bored too, because I get bored quick. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. I think it was Cat Williams, man. I'm pretty sure. I think it was Cat that said it. You know, he was saying that you'll ask a comedian, like, do you want to get into acting? And when they say no, he's like, they're fucking lying. Because, I mean, obviously, that's a huge thing, right? And the reason I say that is because you were talking about Go being more serious. And I think one of my favorite things to see comedians do is take on those darker roles. So, like, Robin Williams did it, and Jim Carrey. Is that something, like, that, like, you're like, dude, I would love to do something like that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, when I was a kid, I didn't know that I wanted to do stand-up comedy, but I knew that I wanted to, like, be around entertainment, and I wanted to entertain people in whatever form that meant. And that's still true today. And so, like, I do want to act, and I want to write, and I want to direct, and I want to do stand-up, and I want to make social media content and do whatever. Like, I want to do it all. And I think that a lot of comics and a lot of creatives want to be that way anymore, especially in 2025, because it's like the rules have changed, you know, and the game is kind of wide open. And even like if you wanted to have your own talk radio show, aka a podcast, 20 years ago, that would have been a lot harder to do. But now, like, if you have a dream, if you have something you want to do, you could just kind of make it happen. And so I feel like now more than ever, you shouldn't put yourself into a box, because you know, because people don't live that way, and so we shouldn't dream that way either, you know?
It's a really good point, man.
Yeah, dude.
Sorry.
I love it.
So, I got to ask, because again, I don't know a ton.
Yeah.
Who have you, like, done a show with that blew your mind?
Like a stand-up show?
Yeah.
Man, It's hard to say. I think one of the coolest shows I got to do just not too long ago, was maybe a year or two ago. I got to open for Theo Von when he was here in town. He was at the Holland, and that was really cool. And he was very cool on stage, off stage. My first show I ever hosted at the Funny Bone. To host at the Funny Bone, you usually have to win this competition, the Clash of the Comics.
Yep.
You know, it's usually locals. They do this thing, and some comics will try over and over and over just to try to win it. And then once you win, they give you an opportunity to host a show. And if you do a good job there, then, you know, maybe you get on the roster and you can start working. And so several years ago, when I had just won the Clash of the Comics, and I was hosting my first show at the Funny Bone, I was hosting for this great comic named Chris Porter. I don't know if you guys know
way, dude.
Chris Porter's a killer.
It's my favorite, one of my favorite comedians, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I've worked with him a ton. He's super sick, and he's great on stage and off. But so I was so excited to work with Chris Porter. I'm hosting the show, and it's my first time. You know, all things considered, I'm nervous. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to mess this up. I'm trying to get in at the club. I want to work here, you know. And I'm hosting for Chris Porter, who's great, and you know he's been crushing. But Bert Kreischer does a drop-in set. He just shows up out of nowhere. And so Bert Kreischer shows up. He crashes the stage. Bert and Chris are taking their shirts off. The crowd loses it. The whole building erupts. Everybody's losing their minds. And then after the show, I'm sitting out. Bert's in a bar. He's drinking with everybody. He's hanging out. Chris is hanging out. Bert's got the fattest wad of cash I ever saw in my entire life. And I was like, is this what winning the Clash is like for everybody? It's not. It's not how it's like. I got very lucky. It was like a crazy first time to be working at the Funny Bone. But that was definitely, like, I'll never forget that, because that was wild.
Bro, so my brother is an Omaha police officer. and
Oh,
they
yeah?
use Chris Porter's joke about the stupid questions about the elevator one. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
use
yeah,
that in
yeah.
the training class.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's how
That's so.
he showed me.
Does
Chris
he know
Porter.
that? Does he
I
know
don't know.
that?
I tried to get Chris Porter on the podcast. That like I think right when me and Spicoli started, I hit up Chris Porter, and he was doing a show here at Funny Bone, and I was like, "Hey man, if you want to
Yeah.
come on, we'd love to help promote." And we didn't end up landing him, but I should have told him. I didn't even think about that.
Dude, he comes through usually annually, so he'll probably be back through. If he's not on the calendar this year, he'll be early 2026. But when he comes back, you should message him and let him know that thing about your brother.
Yeah, well,
because I bet he might pop into the OPD and say what's up to those guys. You know what I mean? And do that. I think that'd be pretty sweet. But you should let him know that, because I think that that's pretty funny.
God, dude, that's dope, man. That's cool as shit for your first show to open up. Chris Porter and Burt. Wow, dude. That's
it was crazy. It's not people's normal first time, you know.
No, but that's how people are made, though, right? You get those special
That's
opportunities like that, man, and that's kind of what I mean. It kickstarts you into what you're doing, man. So that's awesome, man.
You just got to try to rise to the occasion, and even if you get the shit knocked out of you and it like you just completely bomb, which also happens. I mean, you take all those things in stride. It's all a learning process, and comedy, I think, is definitely something like it takes a long time to get good at, and it takes a long time to figure out. And I think that Chris is a good example of a comic who literally just believes in the work. You know what I mean? And he's a dude who has told me before too, just keep your nose to the grindstone, just keep getting out there, keep doing as many shows as you can, say yes to as many opportunities as possible, and just keep grinding. And so I try to keep that in the back of my mind too, so that I don't ever want to step off the gas. I just want to keep getting better and have fun while I'm doing it,
Hell yeah, man. That's dope, dude.
Yeah. I mean, he's basically coaching you right there. I mean, everything that you said is like exactly the path to take.
Right, absolutely. And I mean, you guys got to know that too. Like, you probably meet people and met people before who've like, yo, I want to get into radio. Where do I start? I mean, what do you tell those guys?
Tell them I will never forgive myself if you get into radio, dude. You don't want this.
I mean, honestly, bro,
I kind of say the same thing about comedy. You know what I mean?
It's comparable. Like, people don't understand. Like, this dude goes to bed at 8:00 at night, man. You know what I mean? Like, the running joke is people will be like, "Hey, hit up Spicoli and see if he wants to do this." I'm like, bro, it's 9:00 at night. That dude will kill me. He's got to wake up in 3 hours. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I ain't messing around with that. I mean, once 8:15 hits, I'm like, lights out, dude. I got to get up way too early. Way too early. 3:30 hits, I'm like, dude, FML.
Damn.
Right? Yes.
I can't see. That's a different lifestyle. But I do think it's similar in that, like, people are like, oh, I want to be a comedian. It'll be so great or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but it's a lot of work. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta get up. You gotta write or perform every single day. That's not my light. You gotta write or perform every single day. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be doing it. And if you're not, I mean, it's gonna take you that much longer. So people gotta really grind.
And going back to
everybody wants to do it, but they don't want to put the work in.
You have to figure out how to recover from that in front of everybody. Like, that's not easy, man.
Yeah. The thing about comedy I always tell people is, like, once you start it, it's very hard. I think it can be very hard to stop. But it can beat you down pretty quickly because it's got an addictive nature to it. Like, either you go on stage and your set goes well and you're like, this is the best feeling in the world. I'm going to do this forever. And so then you go back and do it again. Or you go on stage and you bomb your ass off and it sucks. And if you're like me, you're like, well, I can't go out like that. I got to get up again. You know what I mean? I can't walk away on a miss. Like, I got to get up, And so it's very different, but I do think there are similarities in that it's really just about making the sacrifices to put in the work, and then people don't always see what's going on behind the scenes,
Yeah, people are like, oh, you just work for an hour a night? That's what you do for a living? You're like, what?
Yeah. No.
Yes, that's what I do. Sure.
Yeah.
No, and we all know it's all about the preparation and then killing it, and then the inflection, the tone, and the voice you want to do. I'm going through some stuff with my voice right now, but just listening to like how you perfect each person's voice, dude, like you nail it so much. I'm wondering, like, I saw this thing with Jerry Springer back in the day. Like, every morning he would get up and he would set a timer like 45 minutes, and then you have 45 minutes to write a couple jokes, and once that bell rings, then you're done for the day. How does your process work?
I think it depends. Like, there are times when I want to make sure that I absolutely set time aside so that I can make something. But when it comes to writing jokes, I usually kind of like try to live life so that the things will hit me. You know what I mean? I've never been good at just being like, all right, let me force the writing right now when it happens. But if I've got ideas and if the ideas are flowing, I stop everything I'm doing and I make time to do that. On the flip side, social media is one of those things where like, yeah, like I started kind of really hitting social media in 2020 and kind of the height of the pandemic. And it was one of those things I just tried to make time to do it every single day. Just once a day, as often as possible. And, you know, and try not to be too hard on myself if something comes up and I got to take breaks, or, you know what I mean? If I don't get to something because, you know, me and my kid are running around or we're on vacation or something like that, like that's going to happen. But if you want to grow on social media, or if you want to get good at anything, if you want to lose weight, to get into the gym and get strong or whatever it is, like you just have to do it every day as often as possible and just be consistent. And so for me, the writing process is like, when it comes to writing stand-up, it's more so about I try to do something every single day. So maybe I write, maybe I perform, maybe I read you know, somebody's book, or maybe I listen to a podcast, or maybe I watch somebody's special and kind of analyze their jokes. But like, just something every single day to make progress, you know? It's just like if you're trying to lose weight, you don't have to lift weights every single day, but you got to walk, or you got to play basketball, or you got to lift, or you got to stretch, or do whatever. Just do something every single day, and you'll see progress. But it's really just about consistency. So I just try to do something, whatever it feels like I could do. And as long as I'm doing that as often as possible, I feel like I've been able to keep a steadily improve.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I love it.
you gotta stay creative. Absolutely. I don't know why I said Jerry Springer. I meant Jerry Seinfeld. And so,
I kind of put it together.
Yeah.
I'm like, help me out, you two. Fuck.
I was like, Springer's trying to write jokes, man. Like his show's a
Springer's
joke.
writing
Like,
jokes.
what's he doing?
meant
What's the
Stupid
deal
Seinfeld.
with paternity tests? Yeah.
Oh man, you should. Can you do a Chris Rock? You ever tried Chris Rock?
I can't really do a Chris Rock, and I honestly, if I did a Chris Rock, it'd probably sound racist. It'd probably sound bad, and I don't want to do it. Like, it probably wouldn't be good.
I was just thinking how funny it would be to see you do a skit to reenact the slap as those two, man.
To do the slap as us. Yeah. You know what's so funny about the slap? So, right after the slap happened, I made a video where I like aimed the camera at the ceiling, you know, and I just started doing the Will Smith voice off camera. And I do the Will Smith voice well enough that, like, because of the style of video it was, like, it looked very, like, found. And so the caption that I put, like, on the text I put on the screen had just said, leaked audio, Will Smith right after the slap. Okay?
Oh, no.
And I was like, this is a joke. Like, people are going to think this is fake. You know what I mean? They're going to know it's fake. It's going to be a joke, you know? And I think I was talking about, like, Jake Gyllenhaal or something. And I was like, yo, I don't know why he would make like Jake Gyllenhaal was right there, you know? And he was like right after the Taylor Swift scarf stuff. So I said something about that. Whatever. I posted it. I don't think much about it. The video does like 2 million views in like an hour.
Oh,
and it like really, because people thought it was real.
Yeah.
And then people were like, they'd be like, it's not real, it's fake, because if you just click on the thing, if you're, you know, use just your common sense, you'd see this guy does impressions. But like, it didn't matter at that point. It was gone. It was off. Barstool Sports had reposted it. They wrote an article about it, and they're like, whatever. And then they wrote another article. There was like, it was like editor's note. You know, whoever wrote the article, I don't remember who it was. Dylan is a jackass. He didn't realize this is just a joke and made this article, whatever.
That's
We're sorry we put it up.
fantastic.
And it was like, it was funny. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean, like, I thought it was going to make a bad joke. Like, just like a bad, you know what I mean? I didn't realize I was going to make a good fake news. You know, like, I didn't know I was going to, yeah.
You walk away going like, thank you for co-signing that I'm really good at doing impressions, man. That's what I needed, bro.
I was like, hey, I appreciate the pat on the back. I'm sorry that I have misled you. I didn't mean to contribute to the misinformation. I'm sorry, Mr. Smith. You know what I mean? Like,
I think
That's-
I replayed that audio on my radio show. I like if I'm looking back thinking about it, I'm like, man, we got some leaked audio. And I knew it was like a joke, but I was like, yeah, we
Yeah.
got some like hard hitting Will Smith stuff.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure we played that. Like I'm pretty sure
I'm glad you guys were at least like, yeah, it's just it's a goof, all right, whatever. Because some people like they were doing the thing where like they repost it and like you'll see two videos side by side and it's just like this woman and she's just mad like, oh, that Will Smith, I hate him. Listen to this, and it's just her angry like and she stitched my video and I'm like, all right, calm down. You know what I mean? Like. Also, why do you give a shit? Why do you care what these celebrities are doing? They don't care about you. They're living their lives. Let them have their fights. Spend some time with your kids. Like, I don't know what you're doing,
Right.
Dude,
So let me
that's
ask you this. Do you still have notifications on, or like when you hit that many followers, do you have notifications off?
I've turned the notifications off because I don't want to like look at my phone and just have it. You know what I mean? The thing that happens, especially if you get into like a real rhythm of like posting and stuff, like every time I open one of the apps, the notifications are maxed out and they just, I just have to, I don't look at a lot of stuff. And so it's hard to like look at comments or respond because it's not just like the video I posted today. I might be getting comments on one video for months, like there's there's videos from like a couple years ago that I'll still get a lot of comments on just because, they're just old and they circulate or they, whatever. But I definitely like I think that posting a lot on social media and like being on social media has taught me to like try to have a balance. You know what I mean? I think social media is fun. I think it could be cool. I think it's just like any other form of entertainment. You can't just like sit at home and watch TV all day or, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't work either. So I try not to be on it as much. I try to post. I'll scroll through, get my stuff and laugh or do whatever. But I try to like not think about it that much. The advice I always tell comics is, you're going to get good feedback. You're going to get bad feedback. You can't really read too much into it either way. Like the good comments don't let those go to your head, and the bad comments, don't let them get to you. So I always tell people just set it and forget it. You know what I mean? Just put it up and just keep going, Just keep making it. If you're having fun making it, just do that.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, you got it down, man. I mean, you got a good head on your shoulders. Like it just seems like you're paving your own path and you're creating and you're doing all the right things. And it's just exciting to see you be able to shine like this and get opportunities. And we're excited to see how far you take it, man.
Dude, I really appreciate that. You guys reaching out and giving me, showing me love from Omaha. And I'm always going to be proud to be from here. And, I don't necessarily know that I want to go anywhere or be any, do much or that I want to be here for forever. I just want to keep doing stuff and I'll take the opportunities as they come, but I'm never going to forget where I started. And so I try to stay very grounded in that way because, that's just how we are from where we are,
Hell yeah. Before we get out of here, man, we got to talk about any upcoming shows you got, man, for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, I know you guys you've got a lot of loyal listeners in Omaha and stuff, but I know you've got people from all over the country who are from here. And so, for the folks that might be in San Diego or Phoenix, Dallas, I'm going to come into all those places soon. And so, I love when Omaha people come out to my shows when I'm on the road. They're like, yo, I'm from Omaha too. That's always the coolest thing. So, I tell people to look out for that. The tickets and the show info is on my website, CameronLogsdon.com. And then, like I said, March 2nd, there's an episode of Suits LA that's coming out. And so I encourage people to tune in, watch it, 8 o'clock on NBC, or you could catch it on Peacock, the days after. So check that out too.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I'm excited for you to be playing in I was just in San Diego and it was beautiful, dude. Beautiful weather. Everybody was having a good time. Are you playing on a boat or something or on the water?
No. I'm at a comedy club. And so I'm excited to be at the club. I got to go. I want to go and talk shit about their zoo. I want to compare notes.
Get them.
Yeah.
Get them.
Yeah.
My boss just made me Google that yesterday because he was like, you sure you have the #1 zoo? And I was like, I thought so. And like the Bronx Zoo is like beating us now. Like what?
Bronx. I don't know about that. I don't know.
Google's a liar, bro.
Hey, if you got like a Sam's card though, you'll get some discounts out there.
Oh, really? Okay.
You got a Sam's Club card?
I don't, but I could get one if
You got
it's
a
worth
Costco
it.
card?
Yeah, we got Costco.
All right. Hey, don't forget on that, you can use your Costco card to rent a car and it'll be cheaper. You get like 25% off.
Oh shit, that's actually.
So if you need to rent a car,
I'm gonna do
use a
that.
Costco
All right.
card.
Spicoli
Yeah.
coming through with that dad advice, bro.
That's that dad advice.
Hey, I like it. That is
That's
that's
awesome, bro.
I like that. Save me money. I'm down.
Till the midnight hour. All the way, all the way.